Thank you, Sandra, for letting me know that there is no sound. I appreciate that. So, for all of you all that didn't hear me just now, sometimes you have to hit the unmute mic on StreamYard. So, today we're talking about owning the power of your yes and respecting the no's that come out of your mouth. I appreciate that. Hey to Evelyn Walker and Sandra and all of the folks that are watching. So, I want to leave you guys with 5 strategies today, 5 considerations on honor. So, yesterday, I had the amazing opportunity in my board position to be the keynote speaker for a National Honor Society induction. And as I sat on the stage and I looked out, I remember being that person sitting on the other side. So I want to take you all back to everybody that's listening to me right now. I want to take you all back to high school, to when you were sitting in an audience and when you were being honored for anything. Okay. When you were sitting in the audience and maybe you were there supporting somebody, when life was good and you didn't have all of this responsibility that we have right now. And so one of the things that I talked about is I remember sitting there and feeling like, wow, this is such a big deal because everybody said it was a big deal. And I didn't really know inside and feel inside that it was a big deal because I was just going and going and going. It's the things that we show up with every single day. And what I want to remind everybody here today is, what if you are that person that continues to go and go and go and you don't recognize the big deal of the impacts that you are making, not only in your life, but in the life of others? Okay. What if you're going and going and going and you have yet to feel the power of your pause? Earlier, we heard Kate talk about her book that has come out and how she was number 32 inside of her category about creativity and how powerful that felt. When somebody replays that back to you, wow, you did that. When somebody replays back to you, Dora Maria has just come out with a children's book. Was she thinking about this 5 years ago? When you come out and you say, wow, I am an elected official. When you come out and you say, wow, I am helping people change their lives every day. I'm teaching people how to get up and get this confidence in front of everybody. And so I want to talk to you today about honor. Now, when you think of the National Honor Society, it's built on 4 pillars. And in case you all don't know, it's built on scholarship, it's built on leadership, it's built on character, and it's built on service. Those are 4 pillars that we can stand on every day. Are you a leader? We talk about that every day. Scholarship, service, right? We talk about that every day. So the 5 strategies I want to leave you with today and I want to talk through. And if you have anything that you want to add, you could feel free to come off mic, or what you can do is just come on in with the chats. And I want to say hey to Dr. Jeannie. Good morning. And we are here to go to high school again. I appreciate that. Yes. So the H. Okay, let me get here so that my folks on YouTube can actually see exactly what's happening here. My question for you today is, how will you honor you and how will you honor the world? And the reason why I'm coming to you, I changed my topic that I wanted to talk to you all about because the feedback that I got afterward from parents, from community members, and from the students that came up to me was what they were taking away. And so, if in fact any of these considerations sit with you today, then I would love to be able to hear from you. The H that I'm talking about today is really honoring your strengths. And I talk about this all the time to nauseum, but again, I will ask you this. What are 3 strengths that you can say today that you possess? And if you struggle with thinking about what are these 3 power strengths that I have that I actually demonstrate every single day, then I encourage you to do that soul work. When I work with my group coaching group, we always talk about these power strengths that you have that lie inside of you. And if you are not able to articulate them, I want to ask you, then how are you honoring you? How are you honoring your impact? If you can't stand up and you can't say that this is what I bring to the table and this is what I demonstrate, this is how I demonstrate it, then I challenge you to jump on board and sprinkle a little bit of you on top of it. I want you to walk into the world differently. I want you to walk into your business differently. I want you to show up differently because you are power. You encompass all of the strengths that you bring to the table. And so, what if you knew what those strengths were and you knew how you demonstrated them so that now you can honor yourself by honing in on what your strengths are? Okay. So, that is the H that I want to really help you guys with thinking about today. The O is about optimizing your opportunities, optimizing your resources. And the reason why I want to say that out loud and what I talked to the students in the community about yesterday is because far too often we, including Lolita E. Walker, don't leverage the resources that we have around us. So if I look into Clubhouse room right now, there's over 150 people that's inside of the room, but how many of them have I tapped into in the last month? How many get on here and talk about the power of what they do every single day? And I haven't thought to myself, how can we partner? How can we collaborate? How can I leverage the skill set that they already do very easily every single day in order to help me to get to where I'm trying to get? It's about clarity, it's about confidence, it's about commitment. And how committed are we to get out of our day to day routine and look around and really optimize the opportunities that are around us? I have a Facebook group, Coaching Cocktails and Conversations. How many times has somebody absolutely asked for help? How many times has someone said, you know what, this is what I'm doing right now, but I think I've hit a stumbling block and I'm looking for people inside of this community to be able to help me? Very few. But you have these resources around you. You have access to me, some access that people don't have. And so leverage those communities, leverage the people that are here. And then the thing that I'm saying to each and every one of you all today is that guess what? I'm talking to me as well. And as I reminded these students yesterday to leverage their guidance counselors, right? Everybody that's around them. So to the adults in the room, to the business owners in the room, to the folks that are still working 9 to 5 jobs, I want to ask you, how are you leveraging your community that is around you? Today is about optimizing your opportunities. It's about honoring your space, honoring who it is you are, honoring the impact that you are making every day. Listen, side note, I am so excited. I am being honored as a woman of virtue, a woman of excellence. And I will tell you, the other day I was thinking, I was like, I think this is the first time that I have actually been honored in this manner. Not only do I think it, I know it. And I said to myself, someone said, well, Lolita, oh my gosh, really? And I said, yeah. They said, well, you haven't gotten awards before. And I'm like, yeah, I've gotten awards before, but nothing in the community where someone has said, I want to recognize you for this contribution that you have made in society, for this contribution that you are making to women, for this contribution of excellence, because I see you. Wow. And I remember when I heard it, and I'm like so excited. So Dr. Tashika Green and all of those inside of her organizations that is awarding me and has decided to say, hey, I see you and I see the impact. And now I want to showcase you and then replay back to you what you are doing inside of our communities and what you are doing for women of excellence. I think that is powerful. When is the last time that you told someone what you see in them? And oftentimes, especially in spaces like this, when people are giving you awesome information so that you can now increase the trajectory of where it is that you're going, we oftentimes forget to recognize them. I was talking to Dr. Lisa M. Jones, who is phenomenal, and I met her on Clubhouse. I met her on Clubhouse and I started hearing how dynamic she was. I met her in a room on Friday nights in Trials to Triumphs with Monica Floyd, and I heard this power that came out of her, so much so that I interviewed her right here. So if you go back to Coaching Cocktails and Conversations podcast or Breakfast with Champions podcast, of which I am on both, and I had the privilege to being on both, then you'll hear me interview Dr. Lisa M. Jones and how much power she brings and how much discussion it was inside of the room. And we had a whole power hour talking to her. But when I talk about optimizing your opportunities, is hearing somebody and knowing that, wait a minute, yes, we're both coaches. Yes, we're both speakers, but how powerful are you? And so what was the next step for me? We're talking about optimizing your opportunities, was me to lean in. I texted her on a back chat and I said, guess what? You are powerful. And I cannot wait to talk to you. It turns out that we live less than 35 minutes away from each other. And next thing I know, she invited me to her stage. She invited me to her stage to be part of her amazing event. And then the power of community. My point of telling you all that is that when you hear someone, when you resonate with someone, then tell them what you see in them. Recognize them from the imprints that they are making inside of the world, because you are optimizing the opportunity that you have to latch on to greatness. That is powerful. When I think about the people inside of this room, when I think about the journey of about 2 years that we've all been together, when I think about the power of the people who've been with me for coaching cocktails and conversations, even before Clubhouse was here, I think about, wow, growth. I think about the books that have been written. Oh my goodness. I think about the power plays, the businesses that have been started, the escalation of power in influence inside of your organizations. I think about the partnerships. All of that came because you decided to optimize your opportunities. And quite frankly, you decided to look around you and see who are the players that are at your playground. I want to challenge you today to look around and think, who are the people that are at my playground? Who are the people that I talk to on a regular basis? Am I the one that's standing at the top of the playground? Am I the one standing up? Because I don't always want to be the one standing up. I want to be the one that's learning too. I want to be the one that's not always at the top inside of the circle where it is that I am. And so, how about finding opportunities to lean in to other people who have gifts that you absolutely want to grab onto? Because inside of your toolkit, you got some open spaces. Oh my gosh, this is so super good. I get excited when I start talking, so I hope you guys are getting excited too. Listen, there's a Facebook user that said, during this Black History Month, Lolita E. Walker, I salute you for outstanding contributions of excellence to our minds and spirits. Oh, that is so super amazing. Soul said, and thank you. Soul said, Dr. Lisa M. Jones is so powerful when she speaks, and she is. She is. And so, how about if I say her name out loud? How about then you guys looking up and saying who it is that she is? How about you receiving all of the greatness that is inside of her? Another thing I did, because she is so powerful, she has no clue that I'm talking about her today, because I didn't know I was going to talk about her today. But then I also brought her in because I don't want to keep all of the juiciness of who it is that she is to myself. So I brought her in as a power speaker at my Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat, which again is this September, the third weekend in September every single year. But that right there, I want you to get a piece of what is powering me. I want you to get a piece of it. So when I talk about honor and honoring yourselves, which is what we're talking about today, I talked about honing in on your strengths. I talked about optimizing your opportunities, but recognizing that you are greatness every single place that you stand. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, and absolutely yes. The N is about never giving up. Easier said than done, because sometimes we find ourselves in these spaces and places with and we just sometimes feel down. Sometimes, and I'll tell you, listen, I'm on this PhD journey, you guys. Every time I'm on the road going to Morgan State University, I say I'm on my road to my doctorate. And the reason why I say that, because this semester I feel like is even harder than the last semester. I'm only in my first year, and I have found myself saying to myself is, oh my gosh, why did I say I wanted to do this again? Real talk. And as I said that, and as I didn't feel this piece of motivation within me, I will tell you that I thought about my community. I thought about the people who are pushing me. I thought about the fact that I have to say it out loud every day to hold myself accountable. I thought about the folks who call me Dr. Lolita E. Walker already, because they're pushing me. They're pushing me, and they're reminding you that you're not on this journey alone. I'm suggesting to never give up and to find your community, because even when you feel at your lowest moment in time, your community is there to remind you that you are greatness. Oh my gosh, that made me tear up, because those are real things that happen. If you're watching on YouTube, you see all my eyes all, and on Coaching Cocktails and Conversations, see my eyes all white and runny, but it's because there's so much power. I sit on a prayer call every day at 10:30 a.m. and I block my schedule around that time. And I said, we're on that call and we're talking like, this is community. We didn't even know each other 2 years ago. This is community. I want you to never give up. I want you to talk about your dreams. I want you to talk about the project that you have going on. To my 10-year-old son, he's talking about his Black History Month project. And then when you talk about it, you get creative things coming to the side of it. When I talk about the fact that, guess what? I'm inviting each and every one of you all to LA, right, in July, because I'm going to be doing a book signing again at the Hollywood Barnes and Nobles. And I haven't even finished the book yet. When I say those things, and I know that people will power me, I know that I'm inviting you. I've already booked it. I have you already there. But then now I'm accountable. Lolita, what am I going to hold when I get there? How am I going to support you when I get there? It's up to me to put it out. But what did I do? I talked about it out loud. I'm doing it scared. I want you to never give up. What's the power affirmation I always give? It is, I am the greatness that others have yet to see. You got to know that. You got to trust that. You got to believe that without a shadow of a doubt. Absolutely. And hands down. Dr. Jeannie said, you will continue to have those days of why am I pursuing that PhD? This comes from Dr. Jeannie, who also has a doctorate. She said, and that is the part of the journey. I am so proud of you. I'm telling you, the other day I was in the bed, I was crying. I was like, Lord, I'm going to need you to intervene. But there's power in it. And every single time I remember the community that is around me. I remember the push. I remember Lolita, guess what? Never give up. Today, in case you're just joining, we are talking about honor. And we are talking about how to honor yourself, how to honor your impact, how to honor those around you, because we're only here for a limited time on this thing called Earth. And when you're no longer here, what will people say about you? Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. Dr. Jeannie said, loving my journey. Seriously, you got to love your journey. All right, let's keep on going. So we did the H, we did the O, we did the N, and today now we're going to the other O. And I thought about this, and as I talked to that amazing community, I said, open the doors to your endless possibilities. And so if you are a regular Lolita listener, then what you do know is I always talk about these keys. You probably can tell the story, but I always talk about these keys dangling right in front of you and how sometimes there's fog right there. And I talked to them about this the other day, and I said, sometimes somebody says something to you, or you're inside of a space and something just clicks, and now you can see that door. But what if you choose to open up that door? And what if you choose to walk into that door, and wow, what is it that you see? Endless possibilities that are yours to grab. Who told you that you have to stop right here? Who told you that you can't do that? Today, I am here to let you know that at the end of the day, you stand upon your foundation, and part of your foundation are still those 4 key pillars from the National Honor Society: scholarship, leadership, character, and service. How will you describe you? How are you walking into this world differently? Next. Yes, yes, and yes. Oh my gosh. I love you guys' comments. Good morning, Jacqueline Underwood. So good to see you sitting right here today. Yes. Listen, the R is about remembering who you are in the foundation you stand upon. So I talked about that a little bit earlier. Today, we're talking about honor. How are you honoring you? How are you honoring those around you? How are you honoring yourself? How are you leveling up every single day? How are you leveling up every single day? When I look across and I look at my Be Me board, my vision board, to some of you all who haven't been inside of my program, when I call things a Be Me board, when you think about those things, I want you to challenge yourself a little bit differently. I want you to put your name on it. When I look at Dora Maria, when I look at Justin and Crystal and Tara and Christina and Core, and I could go on and on and on. When I look at the folks that are inside of this room, I want to attach something to you. And what do you want that something to be? Are you walking, talking, and behaving in that today? Today is about challenging you to say, you know what? I'm getting up a little bit differently. You know what? I'm laying in the bed and I've been laying here and I can't get up. Today it's about getting up and getting it done. Today it's about saying that I will honor me inside of today. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of me on top of it and put it inside of my business. Are you a marketer? Then I want you to market a little bit harder today. Are you a visionary? Then I want you to vision, and I want you to give it to somebody to shift to action. Are you a CEO in a company and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel like the world is on top of me? Then I want you to delegate and disappear. Right? What is it that you're going to do today so that you could gift yourself a little bit more time so that you can honor you, honor your work, and honor the spaces and I can't even talk this morning, the spaces and the places of which you are impacting today. I want to offer you the opportunity to jump on in case you have anything that you want to add before I go any further. I'd absolutely love to hear from you. I see a Facebook user right here who just says powerful. And I love that you are feeling power. And so I want to encourage you to shift differently today. Today, we're talking about honor. In this half an hour, we only have about 10 minutes left. I want to challenge you on exactly what it is we're talking about today. And I want to remind you of why. So how do I honor me? And here's the thing too, you all. I remember thinking when I started my Women's Weekend Renewal Retreats, I started them because I have been to so many retreats. And one of the things that I've recognized all of the time is that I leave here and I'm just not feeling something. Like there's something that's not sticking to me. So I woke up one day, true story, and I said, I'm starting a Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat. That's it. I'm going to do it with a little bit of Lolita on it. And I know exactly how I want to feel when I walk out of that. So what do I talk to you all about? Clarity, confidence, and commitment. But it's really talking to your future self and understanding how you're going to feel. So in this moment, in this example, what I talked about is how I want women to feel when they walk out of there. I wanted them to feel empowered. I wanted them to feel accountable. I wanted them to feel and know and trust and hold something that said, this is what I'm walking into my next year with. I wanted them to feel this notion of support. This notion of support. So whether it is that you feel as though you don't have your voice, or whether it is you feel like I am doing really well, but I simply need a pause in my life, whatever it is that you feel, you know, you trust that you need inside of this moment, this gives you 4 days to absolutely lean all the way in. Well, why am I telling you that? One, because it's freaking awesome and you should be coming in the 3rd week of September. But the other reason why I'm telling you that is because I had a vision. It was scary as I don't know what. I leveraged my funds to do it. I called on 2 people that I knew that would absolutely bring power. And guess what? It was on the books. Say it out loud, say it plainly, put it out in the atmosphere, and then market it. Done and done. You let people know what you're doing. And believe me when I tell you, they will come. Your tribe will come. I remember when I started my business and, I was all gung ho. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm starting my business, Walker and Walker Enterprises. I'm speaking and I'm coaching and I'm doing all the things. I'm helping people operate inside of their greatness and their excellence. I want to pull it all out because I remember when I don't think that I was operating at my best. And I remember people coming to me and I felt so amazing. And I want everybody to feel that amazing. And then I remember I didn't feel like I got the support that I should get from friends. I remember my first retreat and I'm like, oh my gosh, they should all come. It's going to be sold out in one day. I'm going to knock it out. And yes, it was eventually sold out. But when I tell you, your friends will support you, but support looks different. And we cannot claim to them what support looks like. But in my mind, I wanted them to support financially to be able to come there because I wanted them to trust me that I was an expert inside of this space and that I could give them something that they didn't already have. But I've been giving it away for free for so long. So why did I think that they were going to jump on board to pay hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars in order to come to something that they get for free from Lolita E. Walker? Well, what I had to do was I had to show the world a little bit differently. So I'm saying this to folks that are starting their business and they don't feel supported right now. What does support look like? Support can look like you sharing a post. Support can look like you calling and saying, absolutely. Support can look like financial. Support can look like I want to help you and I want to give you a resource. I want to tell you somebody that I think can help along your journey. Support could mean sharing something that I put out. Support can mean going from $0 for free to be showing up at a webinar. There's so many different ways to support a small business. And I want to remind you that you stand upon a foundation of excellence. Was there somebody who wanted to jump in? I feel like I hear something. Okay. Jacqueline Underwood said, done and done. And I absolutely love that because today I hope I've powered you differently so that you show up and you believe and you know and you trust that I'm doing something a little bit differently. The power of Jackie, let me tell you the Jackie story, according to me and what I've been able to see is Jackie. I met Jackie and she was always doing the things, but something happened to her one day. And inside of our group coaching call, I said, wait a minute. Everybody said, Jackie, this is a renewed Jackie that is inside of you. And what I will tell you is this: Jackie jumped on board and started really optimizing her resources. She started taking that pause. That was her. She started looking at her boxes of overwhelm and she started to see what was pulling her, but then where were her passions? They laid all the way on the back. So Jackie now has launched is launching this amazing app with these nurses on the go because she sits in so many different places and health is where her passion lay, right? Sometimes you got to understand, right? The honor, the H, the O, the N, the O, the R, because she's honing in on her strengths. She's optimizing her resources and her opportunities. She's never giving up because she's pushing. This is a prime example. She is making sure that she orients herself and opens up all of her doors of endless possibilities because all of the resources are right there inside of her community. And if they don't, then her community knows where it is that she should go. And she's remembering who she is in the foundation that she stands upon. She's remembering the impact. I think this is so great because nobody ever knows that I'm going to call their name on here, but I always think of something as I'm talking, and I want to bring you this message, and I want to leave you with amazingness so that you can realize that there's practical applications to everything it is that I'm saying today. I sounded like an instructor, right? Because I am. I sounded like a coach, right? Because I am. Soul said, your women's retreat has been life-changing for me. I'm showing up for myself on a daily basis. Thank you. And she put Dr. Lolita E. Walker. I appreciate that. I appreciate that because there's so much that is inside of this one thing. It says, your women's weekend retreat has been life-changing for me. When people tell me things like that, it's because I can see it. I saw soul shift literally in front of my eyes at my women's weekend renewal retreat. I saw it. I experienced it. So when you play that back to me, I remember when I was nervous about my first women's weekend renewal retreat. I remember, true story, going into the bathroom with the other facilitators that were there, like, oh my God, I think they like that. What should we do next? Oh my God, this is so good. What about this? What about that? Really? I remember Karima Ropel being there, right? And serving it up chef style for the entire time. I remember Dr. Sophia Rahman, who still is with me today. Every single retreat, she is there in order to pour in because she's a psychiatrist. And I think that it's power being there. I want you all to remember that. What Soul said is, I'm showing up for myself on a daily basis. She is honoring herself on a daily basis. And if you are following Soul and you're following her journey, you can see that that is true. So she wants to thank me. And she said, Dr. Lolita E. Walker. And I say that right there because although I am not a doctor yet, it is in moments like this that I remember why I am on this journey. Today was about talking about honoring you. And I hope that you, like those that I talked to in the community yesterday, are able to take a little bit of what I shared with you all today and really lean into it with a little bit of you sprinkled on top. If you want to connect with me, you can at Hey Coach Walker on Instagram. I would love for you to be there, or Coaching Cocktails and Conversations. You can just Google Lolita E. Walker, and I cannot wait to connect. Can't wait to see you at my Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat. You have any questions, definitely reach out to me, and I'll see you all again next week for a power half an hour, and I cannot wait to see you then.